Hello everybody, welcome back to another video of Inspiration TV with Paul DeCoste. In this video, we will be talking about place value. There's another unit of place value called decimals, but we're going to save that for another video. In this video, we will be just focusing on place value. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. Now before we start this video, I want to mention a link in the description below this video. I want you guys to click on it after watching this video. It will take you to a practice sheet. It might not work based on the device you were on. So if you're on like tablet or iPhone, just figure out which device will work better to find the practice sheet. So if you're on the right device, just go on that device and click on the link in the description below this video, and that would mean a lot. Now let's read the learning target. I can identify the value of numbers, including numbers from 10 to 100,000, by analyzing the place value chart. So in case you guys don't know these vocabulary words, identify means to figure out the value. So we're going to figure out the value of numbers by analyzing, memorizing, looking at the place value chart. Now before I show you guys a picture of the place value chart, you guys need to understand what place value is. Place value is a numerical value that a digital has verity of its position of a number. For example, if you want to find the position of 6 in the number 2654, its position is in the hundreds place. 6 represents the number of hundreds is in the number. So if you have 2654 or something, the hundreds amount of that number would be 6. So just in case you guys get a better look of it, I'm going to show you guys a place value chart. So here is a place value chart. As you can see, you might see some decimals, but again, we're going to save that for the next video. But if you already know about decimals, great. But if you don't, then you're going to have to wait for my upload for my videos. So let's just focus on the whole part. As you can see, we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So that's the whole. There are more than a million and 100,000s, but we're just going to stop at 100,000s. But just to let you guys know, there are way more than that. Now let's get back to our document. Now that you guys know how the place value chart actually looks like, now time to understand what numbers they represent. So, as you can see, that 10 represents 1. 10 represents 1 because it has 1 0. 2 represents 100 because there are 2 zeros. And 3 is for 1,000 because it has 3 zeros. And 4 is for 10,000 because it has 4. And 5 represents 100,000 because it has 5 zeros. So if you guys want to pause the video and count the zeros to see if I'm correct, go ahead and do that. But these numbers represent the number of zeros. So as you can see, in the ones place of 10, there's nothing inside it in the ones place. And in both places, which is 2, there's still nothing in it. And you guys might be wondering, how come 2 doesn't represent 10 and 3 represents 100? Because there's only 2 places for 10 and 3 places for 100. Well, we don't count the amount that has stuff inside it. Obviously, to be more precise, we only count up the places that don't have any value in it. So since there are 2 places that have no value, we only count that. We don't count the part where it has a value. Like 2 zeros. There are 2 places, which is 1s and 10s, that don't have a value. There's nothing inside it. So we mark 2. We don't count the hundreds place. We just count the ones that have nothing inside. And it doesn't automatically work like that for any number, but it just works for 1. So anytime you see 100, you know that there's 2 zeros inside, and you know you don't count the hundreds place. And it only works for 1. It doesn't work for 2, 3, or 4. Just 1. You can't put 200 and write 2. It does not work that way. So you guys might notice the zeros. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to focus on all 5 of them. There are 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then infinities, but we're just going to stop at 5. So there can only be one, which are not counted in these times. And also, they only count the places that have 0 values. So now that you guys understand that, let's try a word problem. Freddy has 456 gummy fish. Draw a model below to show the value of how many gummy fish Freddy has. Okay. So they want us to find the value of all his fish. So let's see. The number is 456. So we're drawing a mini place value chart. This is the ones, tens, hundreds place. We are going to put 4 here, 5 here, and 6 here. Alright, so there are 400s of gummy bears he has. We just have to times that by 100, and we would get 400. So basically, we have the amount 4, and we want to times that amount by 100, and we get 400. And as for 5, we want to times that amount by 10, and we get 50 gummy fish. And then we want to times the amount by 1 for 6, which would just get 6. And you might be wondering, as for 1 times, in the ones place, there's no zeros. Do we write 0 times? Well, we don't, because it's not natural. It's not proper to write 0 times, because since 0 has no value. Right. So all you have to do to get 456 is basically add them. So I'm just going to write it very tiny here. Hopefully you guys can see. 0 plus 0 plus 6 equals 6, 5, and 4. So basically, we just have to times the numbers by their values, which place it's standing on, which is 100. And then you just write the number it's in, and you write the number of zeros if you memorize that first spot that I showed you guys. So that's how you basically do it. All you have to do is draw a place value chart, write the numbers, times it by the place it's in, which is 100, and you write the amount of zeros, and if you guys memorize that first place, you know how many zeros to write. Back in the first example before this word problem. So that's how you basically do it. Alright, so let's try this problem. Find the place value of 7 in the number 89,547. So, this is how they don't want you to use a place value chart. You're not meant to use a place value chart to find the value of it. Obviously, it's supposed to be in your head. So, I hope you took note of that place value chart from earlier in the video. So, the place value of 7 is obviously in the ones place because it's the nearest to the right. So, the place value of 7 is ones. Find the place value of 2 in the number 6,326. So, they want to know the value of 2. The place value of 2 is obviously 10, because it is standing in the tens place. Find the place value of 4 in the number 364. That's 1, because it's standing on the ones place. And lastly, find the place value of 1 in the number 71. And it's easy to spot that 71 is the 1 is obviously the place value of 1. Get it? Anyways, thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. But before I end this video, there's a few tips of reviews that I want to talk about place value. So basically what we did was found the value of numbers, including from 10 to 100,000. So we analyzed the place value chart. So for examples like these, we did not need a place value chart because we just memorized the place value chart in our head. We analyzed it. We identified the value of the numbers that included from 10 to 100,000. So basically, we reached our learning target. Now that you guys now understand what place value is, you know how it's useful, but you guys might be wondering, how is it useful in the real world? Well, since if we count up to a digit up to 9, we want to continue on because there's no other one-digit number besides 9. We just reach up to 10. Well, place value is really useful for understanding amounts of things. For example, if you have 10 people in a classroom, basically the value, if you have 1, and you times it by 10, you'll figure out that there's really 10 people in the classroom. So basically, if you apply addition and multiplication, then it is easy for place value. So here we had to use addition. But for problems like these, like how many zeros to add, you needed multiplication. So addition and multiplication can be really helpful when finding place value. Now let's review. So the times of these are 10, 1, 102, 1,003, 10,004, and 100,005. We count the zeros that have no value inside. We don't count the 1. And you can't use any other number besides 2, 3, and 4. That's not how it works. It can only work with 1, and you don't count the value nearest to the left. It only has to be zeros to count as the number on the left of it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.